What's up, everybody? I'm Scott.
I'm Jason.
And you are listening to Liquid Kernedge, a very special Thanksgiving episode of Liquid Kernedge.
Yeah, we're releasing on the Turkey Day, man. I hope everyone's gonna get some good turkey and some football and maybe an elbow touch,
Yeah, let's be real though. As far as football goes today, the only good game is prime time tonight. So if you're listening, hopefully listening in the morning during the Lions and Texans, or maybe just 8 during the Washington football team versus the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna watch the Steelers and the Ravens, mute the TV, watch the game, but go ahead and listen to us for a little while because we're about to be the best part of your Thanksgiving Day aside from the food.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Even though for those who watch football, that Washington-Dallas game decides who's in first place.
That's right. Whoever gets win number 4 in the NFC East in Week 12.
Whoever gets in the NFC least gets first place.
Exactly. So we thought we'd have some fun today since it's a holiday. I know we've kind of gotten some serious political tones the last couple of weeks. We've been trying to avoid that, but you just can't help it with the way the world is right now. So we thought we'd have some fun with the politics and talk about what if you had a Liquid Kernedge presidency.
Yes. I think that the way you said it is perfect. The Liquid Kernedge presidency.
Because you can conceivably have 16 years of Liquid Kernedge running the free world.
Oh my gosh. And that's the thing. I mean, so let's carry this out. So we wouldn't be able to run until 2024. So that means that you would get 4 more years of just private Liquid Kernedge podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could have your 16 years. So you'd have almost 25 years of archived Liquid Kernedge.
I mean, and a lot of that stuff would actually be in the National Archives.
Yeah, maybe we'd even get maybe we could do some some unedited unedited versions of stuff that we said in the Oval Office.
Oh man. Could you imagine if we told some of the world leaders that, hey man, you're doing our podcast during this meeting? So
oh my gosh, Kim Jong-un could be one of our guests without him even knowing it.
Right? Like you sign the release as a world leader, you know what you got into, unless you're subscribed on Podbean or iTunes or you watch the news, you're not gonna hear about this. It's fine. We can give people the exclusive behind the scenes of the government. Like what really happens in the Oval Office. I mean, what are we doing in there? Are there first pets?
Yeah.
Like what does the Liquid Kernedge presidency look like? First off, who runs for president first?
Okay, so we had a brief talk about this, and I mean, I think it is age before beauty.
Yeah.
But I could see that you're much more charismatic world leader than I would be.
Yeah, but you're a much more pragmatic, practical, suave. You're also a salesman. You have more. You're more pragmatic than I am. I think you are nice enough to soften the blow of people adjusting to Liquid Kernedge. Like they'll listen to you because you have political ideas.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I think though, I think they would just like someone who's just laid back and chill.
Well, yeah.
See, I kind of consider the last few years I've considered myself a little bit of an intellectual elitist. Not that I'm the smartest guy in the shed, but I think I look at things way too in depth.
See, but I feel like, though, I'm going to need the 8 years to prepare myself not to give that "are you fucking kidding me" look when someone says something stupid.
You know what I feel like is going on right now?
Huh.
You ever go to dinner with a couple and you guys fight over who's going to pay for the check?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like we're doing right now. No, you be president. No, you be president. You be the president.
We're going to have to come and take a poll.
Pragmatic.
That'd be a great poll for our listeners. If we're going to have a Liquid Kernedge ticket for the next presidential election, who would you want to be the president? And the loser automatically becomes the vice president.
Okay, there you go.
I'm sure
that you're going to win.
You might be able to answer this better than I can.
I'm sure you're going to. Well, go ahead.
I said, if for whatever reason, well, I don't know how this goes. Can a former president run as a vice president?
I think it's one of those things that I think they probably could. They probably could get elected as a vice president.
Is it just kind of frowned upon?
No, well, but let's be honest. When you've been the most powerful person on the planet, do you really want to be the guy who no one ever remembers? I mean, do you want to be the person on the backside that just says, "Oh, okay, you take care of the gardening of the White House while I do all the real work"? I mean, I
don't know. Like, I think I'd be okay with that. Like I am fine learning behind you for 8 years.
Okay.
Before I'm a peacock and I just got to fly.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, then I will humbly accept the nomination for the Liquid Kernedge presidency as the first president.
Oh man, does this mean we get to have a convention like the DNC and the RNC,
God, the Hans Gruber.
the
We'd have to have it the December before though, so we could do the Hans Gruber. I mean that's like a critical part of the convention would be the Hans Gruber.
First off, you're right. I think we have to get rid of the vid. That's what I started calling COVID after watching the Kevin Hart special, the vid.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you watch. He's got a new special on Netflix.
No.
And the first bit he talks about is how he calls COVID the vid now because it's just as intimidating as HIV.
Oh,
so you could ask me, like, did you get the vid? Oh man, I had the vid. It's bad. So I just started calling it the vid, and it works. It flows easy. So we have to get past the vid first.
Well, okay, but then, I think that for us, because it'll be 2024, we'll be long past the danger of the vid, and it'll be more of just the managing of the vid. So
I hope you're right, but I've watched our country over the last 8 months and realized that we can never assume too much.
Yeah, I think that the one of the hardest things for the Liquid Kernedge presidency is that while we would love to focus solely on entertaining the citizens of the United States, there would be too many pulls to international issues that we would have to, do podcasts on the international issues, right? That would take away.
Imagine us going to the G20 summit. But before we get to that, though, let's get back to the LKNC, the Liquid Kernedge National Convention.
Okay.
I mean, if we're going to incorporate the Hans Gruber Christmas pub crawl for that, we need to think seriously about where we're going to have these because they have to be in very prime locations. I'm talking New Orleans, Austin, Vegas, baby.
Okay.
I mean, there are so many places we need to examine.
It's kind of like the football draft now travels around the country. We'd have to find a cool place to do it.
Yeah, right? I mean,
oh my gosh. You know what? There's actually a town called Toadsuck, Arkansas. Maybe we could do it there.
In Arkansas?
Toadsuck, Arkansas. Not just Arkansas, but Toadsuck, Arkansas.
All right. You know what? I think we can let our listeners decide in the poll where we have the first annual Liquid Kernedge National Convention. Okay. I think we that's what we do, and that's how we run the country. This is my proposition. For our ideas, we just put it on a Facebook poll.
Okay. Everything's off a Facebook poll. Okay, gotcha.
Everything's like what our platforms are. We're off a Facebook poll, and whatever the majority gets, that's what we're going to run with because that's what our listeners want to hear. So four of you that listen and vote can help shape the world that we're going to run for you.
Could you imagine if, on a serious note, if we said, look, we have a $3 trillion budget. You guys decide where we spend our money.
Yeah.
You want defense? We'll put it all in defense. You want education? We'll put it all. You just pick which ones you want, and we'll just spend our money there.
Yeah, right? Like, okay. Here's how it's going to work. We got drunk last night on Jason's homemade essential oils.
Yes,
President Edgeworth's homemade essential oils. Because you'll have literally the first still. That's what it'll be called.
Oh my gosh, yes, totally.
It'll be called the first still in the White House.
I'll turn the Lincoln Room into my own distillery, dude.
That's it. That's right.
Essential oil distillery room.
It's like we can sip on your essential oils with the rest of the leaders from the G20 summit, and we can discuss a variety of topics and let them understand that our country is now running based on Facebook polls, and it is either running extremely well or the people should never have voted us in, but they're stuck with us now because we're going to convince them that we each need 2 terms to make it fairsies.
Exactly. I mean, if we want to have consistency through the podcast, I mean, I just think it's important for us to have, 2 straight terms each.
Yeah, and I don't know who would run just to strictly build their brand, and, for financial gains on the back end. But that guy, if you're not doing that, you got to be a sucker or a loser,
Yeah. I think the funnest part for us, though, would be taking the bus tour. We've been talking about doing a Liquid Kernedge road trip. Mm-hmm. We could do a 9-month road trip, recording at every place we go, meeting with people, talking with them about what's bothering them or what things they want to have addressed in the future. It would be a blast, man. I could see that being a wonderful a wonderful stumping tour for us.
Oh, I agree, and I think if you listen to our back episodes and see the guests that we've had, we have a colorful cast of characters that have become part of the Liquid Kernedge family, and I think it's only right that if we take this position as president and vice president, they fill out our cabinets.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that part of it would be that we would probably meet some interesting enough characters where we could pick as we go.
I think so
Like
too.
we have members who are on the podcast who say, you know what, you really know a lot about, I don't know, corn, so maybe you could be the agriculture.
Yeah, I would like to think that our buddy Brian, who has a new podcast, will be on next week. Drink with Bank. He's a former Marine. I think he'd be a tremendous Secretary of Defense.
Oh, you know what? On a serious note, so let's look at this. I mean, obviously, they usually fill these positions because they're bureaucratic positions. They fill them with people who have either been in politics for a long, long time, or they've been. I would be fascinating to fill positions with people who just like, what, this guy, like my father-in-law, he was in the military for 26 years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'd have a perspective on running the military that would be a little different than just some bureaucrat who's been, with the right people for the last 26 years.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, who I would nominate for our director of Homeland Security?
Who's that?
Our EP, Tom, my brother.
You think Homeland Security, he could handle that?
Oh, I think with the way he's got his master's in cybersecurity, so that's a big plus in today's world.
Yes.
But also, I think after reading his notes on a weekly basis about our show for the last 4 years, his blunt, honest truth, whether we like it or not, has helped shape us to become the podcast that we are today. So I think in an effort to get our security of the homeland in tip-top shape, his blunt, honest truths and dry humor, I think, would be completely appropriate.
Yeah, I think that a cabinet needs those kind of people that you can just take brutal, honest truth from, but yet still work together.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, we'd have to play nice because our mom would make us. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, let's not even. We won't even throw that. I mean, we'll just assume that we'd have to get along with these people.
Yeah, Yeah, I agree. I just like I'm saying, like we've met so many people on the show. We'll meet so many people on the show as we go. When we run in 4 years, this is the only way we can do it. We have to run everything by a Facebook poll or a social media poll. And former guests, if you want to be in our cabinet, you have to be a former guest of the show.
Yeah. Okay. Now, obviously, one of the key things about running too is we need to really raise money. Mm-hmm. So we need to come up with some creative, fundraising ideas. Like I kind of would love to be the Bernie Sanders where you only get $23 a person.
That's it.
Whatever because he always brags about how he only got $23. His average contribution is $23. So
I mean, we could do that.
I would love to make it possible where everyone just only donates like $23 or something like that. But we get it from, 20 million, 30, 40, 50 million people so we can have enough money to run.
I would like that. I would like to do President-elect Edgeworth essential oil tasting.
Oh my gosh. Every stop we could have an essential oil tasting.
And I think with your homebrew skills and my culinary skills, we could pair foods of the region nicely together and charge 23, at least half the 23 in the price tag, $23, $2,300, $23,000.
Okay.
See?
Okay.
See?
Wow, that's a good marketing play right there.
I would also suggest that we hit up everyone that's got their 15 minutes of fame high on YouTube right now and guest host on their show.
I know. I think that so here's an important aspect. So we were podcasting, so we'd be podcasting pretty much like Kardashian style, like every day, all day.
Yeah.
What would be our main platform? Keeping it real to the people, is that our platform?
I would say an honest look at America. I would think that anyone that actually saw how the rest of the country thinks versus how they think should, in theory, make them take a step back and say, "Ooh, we got to fix that," or, we're not that different. To give everybody a fresh perspective of, the world is just not your little bubble.
Well, you know what I would like to do? I would like to try to run on a platform that no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, we're actually pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So we bring up topics that people can agree on no matter what. Like, for example, United States is the best.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We could come up with good topics that people, whether you're a farmer in Iowa or you're, a socialite in New York,
Or
we have common ground, man. We have common ground.
A crabber in Alaska. Exactly.
A crabber in Alaska. We have common ground, baby.
Yeah. We all have that common ground. You know what it is? Our DNA all has that red, white, and blue, baby.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So I do see one potential pitfall.
Okay.
So we do our campaigning at the $23 or 23, 23 has to be in the donation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We grassroots, we bring back to the people, hey, all of us are good people. We can talk about anything, common ground, all that stuff. We win the election.
Mm-hmm.
Then at some point they're going to require us to actually do some work. So how do we fit in the work with the podcasting?
Well, if we're doing this Kardashian style where the cameras just follow us around, in this case the microphones, I say these people, they got to come with us. I mean, okay. it's there's no behind the scenes conversations. You want to hear how the country's run. You want to if you want to see how the cake gets made, you're going to have to watch us break some eggs.
Do you think that we would be safe enough to just open the White House doors and let anybody and everybody come see us?
No.
So you still think that even with the winning campaign of Liquid Kernedge, that there would be people out there that would want to harm us?
You've met us.
Me especially, but you might be okay.
Let's be real. It's better to be safe than sorry. I would prefer a full vetting process of anybody that's coming in to see us, just for posterity's sake and to keep up with traditions.
Okay. Because I remember back in the 1800s, man, Abraham Lincoln left the doors open. You could just come in and see him. Just sit there. And there were people that sit there for days waiting for a meeting with President Lincoln.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. People open the door and say, hey, come on in.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Wouldn't that be cool to be back in those times, man?
Well, maybe we can do that just with the vice president. So the vice president has to have that responsibility to sit and listen to all the walk-ins.
Oh, God. Then are you sure you want to be the first vice president?
Hey, man, this is backdraft. I go, you go. So
okay.
If I do the VP thing on the front end, you're doing it on the back end.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So in 8 years, we might have made enough enemies that I might have a more dangerous role.
Yeah, exactly. But you're more political and savvy than I am because, again, I have the face and the mouth that'll give away that I think they're an idiot pretty quick.
Yeah. We joke about it, but sometimes I think as normal people would probably run the country so much differently, at least personality wise, than some of these, professional politicians would run it probably.
Yeah. I have to tend to agree because I think, I understand why Trump won this last time because let's mix it up. Let's get a businessman in there. We just didn't realize what kind of businessman we were getting, and that's on us. But still, 73 million people voted for him.
Well, and the way I look at it too is like I really think that if a regular person like us was running it, I know that we wouldn't go so far into debt that our kids, grandkids, great grandkids will never be able to pay off that debt.
No, I mean, how do we fix it?
Most of us don't live like that in our normal household budget. So I have a feeling that most of us would probably say, hey, can we afford that? No. Oh, okay. Well, I either need to get another job or we're not going to pay for that. You know what I mean? Like,
what if we? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, common sense. You would think that a normal person would not run the United States government like a politician would.
Well, that's something like the Smithsonian, for example. Government runs museum, all this amazing stuff. There's a shit ton of things in the archives and in the basements. Correct?
Yes.
Stuff we're never going to use anymore. Why aren't we having a yard sale on the national lawn?
Okay, now I almost let my intellectual elitist come out, so I'm not going to.
I know.
I'm going to say, wow, that's a good idea, Scott. That's a really good idea.
I mean, why?
You know what? There are so many bedrooms in the White House. Why don't we just have a yard sale of all the furniture from over the 280 years?
Well, I'm not saying like get rid of everything, but obviously some stuff has sentimental value.
The Carson of Independence. What's this? We don't need this.
I mean, but honest to God, though, if we went through the basement, the archives of the Smithsonian, I guarantee you there's a shit ton of things like, do we really need this? Like, I've seen Night at the Museum Part 2. I feel like I've got the behind the scene looks at what goes on in the back of museums. I feel like if we had to unload some things, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay, so I now think that we've come to a point in this podcast where there's starting to be cracks in the unity of the Liquid Kernedge party. Because, dude, we're not selling any historical significance.
I'm not saying sell it for a quarter, but if it gets us out of debt, like,
yeah,
do we really need the Magna Carta? I'm just saying.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Yeah, who needs all the historical stuff?
We've scanned it. Everyone knows what it says. So yeah, it's basically just a piece of paper now.
Which does lead to a question. I mean, we talk about this. What are the things that because there's always that question about what should be covered by the states versus what should be covered by the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
And we would have to come to a decision about what should the federal government really be responsible for and what stuff should be left to individual states.
Oh, I agree. I think that's hugely important. I think it's a discussion that needs to be had and settled on. Like,
yeah,
California is the 6th largest economy in the world, so
yeah.
Let's pull some weight there. We're not making all your decisions for it. You want all these things? You can pay for it. That's fine. Don't ask us for money.
Well, and the other side of that is how much of the federal intake of dollars comes from California.
Yeah.
Do you really want to be pissing them off when they pay probably a third, 2/3 of the money that's coming into the federal government might be coming from 3 states,
Yeah, see, that's why you're the one in charge first, not me, because I won't think like that.
Yeah, you say like, hey, you guys make your own money. Fuck you. You don't need our money.
I'm over here thinking, but you're right. You're right. Tax-wise, that's the way to go, because my idea would be like, well, why don't we auction off, a day with Nicolas Cage trying to steal the Declaration of Independence?
Oh, yeah. I haven't really tried to do it?
Yeah, exactly. Really haven't tried to do it with Nicolas Cage. I think that would be amazing.
Dude, you're so wrong.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. 1, you'll get kids learning about history. 2, you'll give Nicolas Cage his first meaningful job since Con Air. 3, it's just a badass idea.
Oh, man, Scott, we might have to institute, though, dinners and movies.
I think so.
Oh, my gosh. For those of you who don't know, when Scott and I first met, and I was single, and Scott was single, and Dean was single, and Noreen was single, we used to do dinners and movies where one person would coordinate the dinners and the movie, and we'd go over to their house, and they would pick the movie. And oh my gosh,
you could not complain. That was the rule. You couldn't complain about the food or the movie.
You couldn't complain about the food of the movie. And let's be honest, though, the food was always amazing. I don't know. You and Dean and Noreen were just fantastic cooks. I'm not so much, but McDonald's has a good Happy Meal. So I mean, I
always appreciated the toy whenever you were cooking them Happy Meals.
Exactly. But then we'd watch the movie, and the funny part about it is that the interest of people and their movies choices was very evident that Scott and I were on very opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. As I don't know if you've noticed the majority of the show, we are generally on the opposite ends of the spectrum. For as similar as we are in so many things, we choose to discuss the things that we're very different opinions about.
Yes. Scott wants to get rid of all of our national history.
Not all of it.
I
just the stuff we're not using.
I would like to be nicer to California.
Yeah. I mean, I could, California, great. If they're cool, I could be cool with them, whatever. But if the stuff's just sitting in boxes and totes underneath in the basement,
I know.
Why don't we sell it?
I get it, dude. I totally get it. I totally get it.
I mean, I'm just trying to think outside the box for our platform, because you can't tell me someone wouldn't want to get their hands on a fancy Ark of the Covenant like we saw in the Lost Ark.
That's true. Just so they could open up the top and turn into a skeleton.
It could really tie the whole room together. You don't know what someone's taste is.
That's true. I do, though, that I want to know if there's an Area 51, dude. I want to know if there's an Area 51, because as president, I would be privy to that information.
Yeah, exactly. And so would I, because you have to totally tell me first.
No, you'd have to wait Your turn.
You cannot make me wait 8 years for that.
You have to wait 8 years.
You have sat through my episodes of conspiracy theories, and that's the one you make me sit out on.
National security, the national security at
Actually,
Tom.
That's very
Tom
true. If I
tell us that I can't tell you because that's against the rules.
If I start drinking your essential oils, everyone will know. I'll take to my Twitter, and everyone will know it's at Area 51. So you're right. It's not a good idea.
That's
terrible
true.
idea.
Yeah,
make me true. Wait. Make me wait.
Yeah, no. So I, and here's the thing, though. I know it wouldn't happen, but if Liquid Kernedge did run and we somehow lost the election,
would we be graceful about it?
Could we still podcast?
Oh, I think so. I think that just reses up for a 2028 run.
Okay, there. Okay. I just want to make sure.
I think
I'm weighing right now that I'm not sure who is going to run against us, but it's very possible that we might be an underdog in that election.
I would say at this point, we have to go back to one of the first rules you ever taught me in life. 50 no's and yes is still a yes.
That's true. That was a different Jason, though.
So we can lose 50 elections. We just got to win one, baby.
That's true.
Got to get our foot in the door.
We have some very loyal listeners, and I wonder if any of those listeners, after listening to us now for going on 4 years, would actually vote for us.
I think they would.
You know what? I will give someone $5 if on the next presidential ballot they write in Liquid Kernedge.
But they have to show us proof.
Well, they can take a picture of it. Oh no, can they take a picture of it?
Yeah, it's frowned upon, but
yeah, I will give them $5 if they write Liquid Kernedge on the ballot.
I think that's fair.
I think it would be totally awesome if Liquid Kernedge received 50,000 votes or something.
Oh, I think it'd be killer. I think it'd be amazing.
How do we market that? Maybe we should find over the next 4 years how to just get ourselves to 150 votes.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to get 150 votes.
Let's grow our base organically and see what happens.
I was going to say, I know we have 150 followers on Facebook, so maybe 200.
We have over 200. So.
Oh, okay. Well, 200. I want to get to 200 votes. So
I think we can get that. Okay. So as we wrap up the show today, would you support a Liquid Kernedge run for the White House in 2024? Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Kernedge. Would you support our EP Tom being our Director of Homeland Security? Show him your support by hitting him up on Twitter and Instagram, all at Liquid_EP.
Well, I for one would definitely vote for Tom. Well, I would just nominate Tom first.
Yeah, we just have to nominate.
That would be the first thing. I wouldn't even mess around with the Secretary of State or Chief of Staff and any of that crud. I'd just Now we'd have to find a role for the intern.
Oh, did they have like national education? He's got 3 master's degrees.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay. He's our education guru. All right. Sweet.
And do you think Noreen would be interested in being our Treasury Secretary?
Oh, she totally would. Although she'd get really mad at us when she saw the balance of dollars going toward the essential oil production. That would definitely be a frowned upon.
Hey, there's off the books accounting too that we all know but don't speak of with the government.
That's right. $900 toilet seats. I mean,
exactly.
We'll get there.
Some of that can be diverted.
That's right.
That can be diverted.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, Jason. That was a fun conversation. Everybody have a happy, safe Thanksgiving. If you can't be with your family, call them, FaceTime them, Skype them. Just be safe. It's a scary time right now, and there's no reason to put yourself at any more risk than you need to. So with that being said, Jason, take us home.
Hey, be safe, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. That was Scott. I am Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some Liquid Kernedge.